I don't know about you, but this definitely happens to me. And I never knew it had a name. And it's actually a medical recognized condition called highway hypenness. So, have you ever been driving along a road and suddenly came to the realization that you're behind a wheel of a car or motorized vehicle, and for whatever amount of time that may be, you have no recollection of driving or of what you've done. Like you could have ran over a load of kids. You could have like had an accident, sorted out the insurance details, and are now back on the road. Like you have no idea. Like you're just praying to God that you haven't passed a speed ban in the past.
It happens to me all the time.
I drive for a living, and this happens to me a lot.
Like I get to work half the time, and I'm like, how the fuck did I get here?
Oh yeah, like I was driving home the other day, and I remember I was in like the middle lane of a 3 lane national dual carriageway, and I was like, "Oh, will I pull into slow lane?" I was like, "No, I'll be stuck behind those cars." And then I realized that I was in the slow lane. There was no cars around me, and I was coming up to my exit. I was like, had no recollection of turning in, had no recollection of what I've done, and a good 15 minutes must have passed.
Yeah, like, it happens to me the whole time. It's a good, I'd say it's 40 minutes from my house to work. And sometimes I remember getting into the car, I remember reversing out of the parking space, and then I'm at work.
That's a lot of time that passed. That's a good 20 to half an hour of you just not knowing where you've
And
been.
not knowing what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, like I remember one time when I was learning to drive, and I was driving back from one of my friend's house, and I had to drop another one of my friends back home to Racool, and we were kind of preoccupied by a car behind us. We thought they were following us.
What were you doing?
And we got freaked out about this car. We're like, he was just obviously going the same way we were, and like, do you know what? Like it could have started with my friend goes, "Oh, that car's been behind us for a while," and then that just snowballed into like 20 minutes down the line. We're like, "It's definitely following us."
I'm always paranoid about cars following me.
That probably is another medical condition. We were driving, we got to the motorway, we were driving on the motorway, and a good 15 minutes passed, and I turned to him and go, we're going to Nace. He goes, "No, Mark, we're going to Racool." And I go, no, we're going to Nace. And you know that like golf cart that you see on the side of the Nace Road? I could see that passing us. I had no recollection. Like I said, I was driving for a good 15 minutes. That one, I was heading in the completely wrong direction. And I was just like, I'm so glad I'm on the side of the road where the cars are going in the same direction as me. And I didn't somehow manage to go down the wrong side of an exit.
I think that happens. Like, do you ever, when you're used to just going a certain way,
Yeah.
and then you need to change it. Like something happens and you have to change what way you're going, and then you're like, "Oh no way, hang on, I'm going the wrong." For ages when I moved out home, like I'd be coming home from work, and then next time I'm like, "Why the fuck am I driving towards my mom and dad's house?"
Yeah, no, we thought it was the car behind us. We thought, oh my god, that car behind us had magical powers.
That was Mark's first arrest.
This all popped up because of a Reddit group called Today I Learned, and one person wrote on this that highway hypenness is an altered mental state in which a person can safely drive an automobile great distances without no recollection of having driven at all. It's basically manufactured of the subconscious and the conscious concentrating on two completely separate things. So your subconscious is driving the car, and your conscious is wandered off down some daydream that you've been talking.
It's just like gone for a stroll.
Gone for a stroll. You're now like picturing yourself like Coke Park on the 45-meter line with only like 30 seconds left to go, even though you don't follow GA.
But who cares?
And you're about to take a penalty shot.
You're about to win.
Yeah, do whatever championship it is, and yeah, like that's what you're focusing on. This complete nonsense. Or you wonder, I wonder if being ugly means you live longer. Is that nature's way? While you're driving along, your subconscious is, I'll take the wheel here.
Is that something you've put thought into?
No. But I might next time I'm driving. Because, do you know, I have a point.
Yeah, tomorrow is food for thought while driving.
Yeah, yeah. Does ugly people live longer? It could be like nature's thing. Like, you know how David Beckham, he's like a hugely successful athlete, and he's like a model and everything, and then he has a really squeaky voice. It's like nature balances it out. Like, that's also a scientific fact that like nature's a way balancing everything out. Maybe like ugly people's trump card is that they live really long. More research is needed.
Definitely more research is needed than that one. Shy talk facts may not actually be facts.
Shocking. So like you might wonder, like, is this incredibly dangerous? And are we a danger to any motors that is around us when we're driving, since we're constantly daydreaming while driving? And it mightn't be, but it might be. And there's like there's two schools of thought, and you guess that you can just believe whatever you want. That's what I do normally, anyway. But a guy called Stuart Robertson, and he seems quite smart. He's a hypotherapist in Edinburgh. He told the BBC, if anything, your reaction times are quicker because your subconscious is highly engaged to the environment. So that's one school of thought. And now, not everyone agrees with that. There's a Joshua Maxwell, who's an engineer at Hyundai Kia Technical Center in Michigan. He said, zoning out definitely means your reaction times will be slower, and typically people who suffer from highway hypenness generally are tired, and when you're tired, your reaction times are definitely slower. So it's more likely that your reaction times are going to be slower than if you're like fully concentrating on it. Which makes sense. Like, I'm pretty sure if it made you a better driver, you'd be having like Formula 1 drivers and professional race drivers like be hypnotized so they get into like a hypness state as soon as they like get into the car. They wouldn't be like concentrating. I wonder if that does though when you're driving in, like, especially Formula 1, because there's like 63 laps sometimes.
They just zone out.
Like, yeah, whenever this is like the mind starts to wander.
That's how crashes happen in Formula 1.
them slightly going off track. And 4 people died.
I cut his head.
Exactly. Remember when I used to play the Formula 1 games? Sometimes I used to put on the actual length race where you do 60 something laps, and the level of concentration that it took was
why the fuck would you
insane. Like, I had to pause it sometimes, get drinks of water. Like, my t-shirt would be sweating. It took so much concentration. So, a few people were giving their own personal stories of this happening to them. One person said, I ran a red light, hit nobody because my brain shut down and went into highway hyperness. Sometimes, like, a few of these stories, I did kind of feel like they were just blaming highway hyperness on them, just like being poor drivers.
I wonder would you get away with it in court?
No. He said, lucky enough, there was no cameras and I didn't get any ticket, but that could have been the least of the worst outcomes that happened from it. And I remember something similar happened to me before, but it wasn't highway hyperness. It was just something completely different. So I was driving home with 2 of my friends, and they distracted me by talking with some guy's legs that was standing at the side of the road, waiting to cross the road, waiting for lights to turn green for him to walk. And they're like, Jesus, look at the size of his legs. And I was kind of looking around, going, why are you staring at a guy's legs? Go, Jesus, they are quite big. And then I seen green at the side of my eye and presumed it was green for me to go, but it was like the pedestrian lights. It went green for like people to walk across my side because it was obviously red for me, but it was green for people to take a right on the opposite side, and nearly caused a crash. And it's like halfway across the road, realised that it was a red light. It's like, geez, stop distracting me.
I done that during my driving test.
Oh, Jesus. Did you pass?
Yeah.
Fucking.
Like your man was saying, because when I did it, like I blocked up traffic. I was like, oh bollock! And then when we got back to the test center, the guy was like, oh, I was going to fail you because you done that, but you seem to realize that you made a mistake.
That was nice of him.
So I'm going to pass you.
I was taking a right turn. You know that box junction, like so people can turn into a junction. People leave it clear.
Yeah.
So that was clear, and a car was approaching it, and he stopped and flashed me. So I turned right, and I took my hand off the wave to say, "Oh, cheers!" Not realizing I was doing a test, and I took my hand off the wheel. So that was instant pink mark right there. I failed the first time, and yeah, I don't know how. It'd be interesting because obviously if you're involved in a crash and police come to, you're not going to turn around and say, "Oh, it kind of like dazed off. I was kind of in my world of my own." Yeah, I was zoned out. Like, because like obviously you're going to get more trouble. But I wonder how many accidents a year are caused by highway hypenness.
There has to be at least one.